Hello listeners, my name is Charles Scott and I'm here with Charles Scott Jr.
Hey, how you guys doing today? Hello my viewers. Welcome to Can We Talk Real Estate, another episode like we did last week. Remember, tune in each week. We have new information, what's going on in the market. Market's always changing, but guess what? We're looking at it for you. You don't have to look at it, we're looking at it for you.
We're coming into a busy season right now.
Springtime.
A lot of people coming in. When you have supply and demand, it's always a lot of demand out there right now. And a little bit of supply, but you know, we got enough supply to keep you going. If you want to get a hold of us, there's our telephone number.
Number's right there.
You can give us a call.
Well, you already said we have a little bit of supply. That's why I'm talking to my sellers. I call my sellers every day and said, let me know when you're ready to sell, because right now we're in a market, very unique market, where I see a lot of houses. Like I say, you don't have to fix up too much. Let's put it as is. You'll be surprised. Let me do a free CMA from you. Give a call right there.
Actually, we're out there looking for properties for people. We're active. We handle just about the entire state of Connecticut,
Yes.
I'd say, unless you're going up near Massachusetts. But anywhere coming in from New York into Connecticut and the Valley. We call it the Valley. The Valley right now is a very hot piece of land. Anywhere coming in from, like, I'd say Shelton, Easton, coming into Naugatuck, also Trumbull, Waterbury. Waterbury is pretty hot also. A lot of people are gravitating towards the Waterbury.
That's why I like to stress. Waterbury, people, when they talk about the Valley, especially my Bridgeport, I'll say my Bridgeport friends, they talk about Shelton, they talk about Trumbull, Stratford, that part, you know, going to Ansonia, Derby. But keep going. We got Naugatuck, we have Waterbury. Mm-hmm. I can show you parts of Waterbury. I drive by, I'm like, this house, if this house was in Bridgeport, I'll be paying nearly double. Beautiful house, big front yards. Give us a call. Waterbury is a great place to live.
And the other thing, too, is we want you to think about this. For the last 3 years, they've been actually upgrading Route 8.
Yes.
It doesn't take, I'll give you some of the advantages of the logistics of real estate. You know, real estate is regional and also it's local. You can get the biggest bang for the buck by going down into the valley and purchasing properties down there. Yeah, when you go down the valley, like let's say for example Naugatuck. Naugatuck has a nice subdivision down there where there's a lot of raised ranches.
Yes.
You know, near the Walmart, there's a Walmart down there, and I think it's Waterbury Road. Mm-hmm. But surrounding that area there, you have a lot of beautiful raised ranches that are fairly new. They were built within the last 25 years, and not only that, it doesn't take that long to get down there.
It doesn't.
You know, Route 8 right now, they're just about completing it, and I was pleasantly surprised today. I'd say there's probably a 5-mile stretch that just got paved over the weekend. So now, you know, for the last 3 or 4 years, it's been kind of hectic because they've been tearing up the highway and the Route 8, and they've been fortifying it rather than just paving it. They used to pave it over every 3 or 4 years. Now they've fortified it with concrete for the near future. So now they're starting to do the paving, and they are increasing the lanes from 2 lanes to 3 lanes.
Yes.
So it doesn't take, I'd say from Fairfield County to get into Naugatuck at the max right now is probably about 20 minutes. And so that's nothing. And then when they finish it all up, if you're in the Bridgeport area, you know, within 10, 12 minutes you're in Ansonia, and for another, you know, 5 minutes around the curves, you're in the Naugatuck area and the Waterbury area.
He's talking about driving. Well, my people are taking trains. The train's a quick trip. You get on that train, you read a newspaper, look at some updates here in Bridgeport before you know it. Park your car in Waterbury or one of the train stations. I have a lot of customers who are commuting to New York, but they live in the Valley when they come home.
When you talk about the trains, also now they're building 3 new train stations.
Yes.
And the Waterbury is getting a new train station. And when we say train station, before you had to stand out there, they're actually getting a station just like in the Bridgeport area where you can go inside, sit down, order coffee, you know, watch TV. And then I think there's a new train station coming in Ansonia, and Naugatuck's getting a new train. So there's going to be 3 or 4 new train stations where people can just go in, sit down, and the train pulls right up. And the other thing is they've increased the amount of trains. I think there was like 1 or 2, but the old, diesel. So everything is being upgraded for mass transportation. You don't even really need a car.
And the reason is because what? People are moving into the Valley. We're seeing it. We were part of that. We've been moving people to the Valley since 2009, 8. I remember some customers finding value out there. And think about the equity they have now. Moving into that part of Connecticut, you'll see the savings, especially you stay in New York with your job, move back and forth. Give us a call. We're specialized in relocating people.
You know, when I look back at, the last 10 years, some of the advice that we gave people to buy homes, and now you look at what's happened, it's been remarkable. Prices double, the equity is there, beautiful homes, beautiful neighborhoods. So if anything, today we're giving you another tip and forecast. Think about relocating into the Valley because everything is changing there. New development, even new apartment buildings. What is it over there? Right outside of Ansonia, big new apartment building just went up. Trumbull, they're building new luxury apartments or shorefront properties there along the Naugatuck River.
Yes.
And you have a lot of people that are going to be relocating there. So now is the time to really go over there, put that on your checklist. Look in Naugatuck, look in Ansonia, look in Derby, Seymour, Shelton. And these are areas right now that have the biggest bang for the buck, the best value, nice homes, nice developments, and the transportation is like, you just said, you jump on the train, you're in Bridgeport, jump on the train, you're in New York City.
Now, I heard you said they're building a lot of apartments, luxury condos, senior living, stuff like that, but I'll say one thing we see in this market across the board, they're not building too many single-family houses. So that's why I say it matters. I'll say the agent you choose because some of these houses, like I said in the episode before last week, a house will hit the market on Thursday, maybe Wednesday. If it's a house that hits all the dots, looks good, great area, school district, that house will be gone within a week. It will be under contract because we're in a situation where we have a lot of buyers. But a lot of sellers too, but what houses are in the condition that they want to buy and pay top dollar for? And that's where you give us a call.
Yeah, I took a couple out last week. They put an offer on a house, and this is the first day the house was on the market. And, they came in with a strong offer and everything. And the property came in, I think it was Friday, they put the offer in. And then Sunday they chose they had highest and best Saturday. So what's that
highest and best is? Highest is when they say it's the highest price, your best price. You can't come back and say, oh, I want one more dollar. It's your highest and best.
That property was on the market 2 days. 2 days, and they awarded it to someone that was buying it. And, unfortunately, the client that I had did not get the house, and I called the agent up to get an idea of who they chose. They won't tell you the price that it sold for until it actually closes. But she did influence me by saying, well, here's the reason why they chose who they chose, because it was actually someone within the neighborhood who knew the house. And so, therefore, they were familiar with, the house versus a first-time new buyer who might be cautious and wary of buying a house, and these people knew exactly the house.
So what did that influence them? What did they do?
Oh, the other thing too is that they knew, I guess the neighborhood and all that. They put an offer in, and they actually put it in with, which I don't suggest everyone do.
I don't suggest this either.
They, they waived the inspections on the property, but there again, they knew the property. In other words, they were probably friends of the owner that was selling the property. So they had an idea, and they live in the neighborhood. They live, like in a situation like that, it could be the children of the neighbor across the street.
Exactly.
Who grew up, the people that were selling the house, they'd been there like 40 years. So these people that were buying the house could have probably been in the house 25, 30, years in and out. Versus someone coming in from out of town. So, but you still have to, put your best foot forward, make your best offer.
To add to that story, you see what happened there? His clients came in with a strong offer, but like I said, there's other factors. The highest price doesn't always win. Sometimes it's about how you formate that contract. When's your closing date? Are you having an inspection? If you are having an inspection, is it for informational purposes only, or do you want me to fix things if you do come across safety issues? Everything management comes to putting that contract together, and you want to have an agent that knows how to put it together, especially one with 40 years of experience.
Exactly. You got to think of this, think of the opposite too. If you're the seller is motivated by terms and also the amount of money. So
Yes.
in this particular case, the successful person was not the highest bidder. So they didn't go for the person that was given the most money. They went for the person who had the best terms.
Yes.
Terms could mean how quickly can you close. In other words, are you putting an offer in on a house that's going to take you 2 months before you're able to move inside? Or is someone else putting an offer in where it's going to take them only 30 days and they're ready to go? So, and if it's a sale, this particular case was a probate case where the individuals that owned the house had passed away, and the heirs were selling the property, and the heirs came in from out of town. I think it was Texas. So they're not concerned with waiting a long time. They're looking for a quick sale. So therefore, they're motivated more so by a simple offer and time versus a complicated, something that might be more money, but take longer and be more complicated.
Exactly.
So when you put an offer in, there's other things you look at other than just the amount of money that you're going to be putting in. It could be the amount of money you're putting down.
That's also a factor.
If a seller looks and say, well, hey, these people here are asking for a first-time homebuyer program. They're putting down only 3%. They're wanting to go through this grant program that's going to take.
Inspection must be reviewed by the grant program.
So versus someone else putting an offer in, they may be putting down a large amount of money, simple closing, 30 days, make it easy, and therefore we're not offering as much as the other people. So the seller can say, well, okay, that sounds pretty fair and solid. Let's go with that particular offer. There's many reasons why a seller will accept an offer. Just as you're motivated, the seller is also motivated, and the agent encourages the seller as to which offer to accept.
And that's why I just want to talk to people who are using these programs. They're good. First-time home buyer programs are great, but you want to make sure your agent knows about the program and how to structure that offer. Make sure that you know about the program. Have you gotten all the letters you need in order to start shopping for a house? Or are you shopping for a house prematurely? Do you even know if you're eligible for the program? So make sure you have all your information lined up to explain to your agent. And a good agent would do his own due diligence and make sure he also talks to your loan officers or the workers you're working with these programs.
And well, one other thing too, as I want to emphasize is, today I was coming into the TV station. I got a person that called me up and said, okay, I want to buy a house. Gave me all the parameters of what they're looking for. And I said, have you been pre-approved? Have you been to the bank yet? Well, no, but I'm pretty sure that won't be a problem. And they were looking for, a house, a big house, and all the bells and whistles and this and that and everything. And I knew there was limited inventory out there. Even if there was a lot of inventory out there, I could tell that they were new to buying a house because their wish list had some of everything on it. I mean, you name it, they wanted this, they wanted this, they wanted that, they wanted this. And I said, even in a market where there's a lot of properties, some of the things that they were asking for are, not available in this particular area.
Exactly.
So, I don't, in this business, you do not want to discourage anyone. In other words, you have to you can guide them along, but I said, okay, send me your email and I will give you an idea of what properties are out there and what the price range is. The last thing you want to do is insult someone and say to them, well, this is going to cost this, can you afford this? That's not my job. My job is to tell you to get pre-approved.
Yes.
Figure out how much money you can get from your bank, and then we will take that amount and we will sort of match what you can get along with what's available out there and what properties are out there. And then I let you know what properties are available out there, and then it's up to you to decide if anything out there is suitable for you. But it may not be. There may be. There may not be. but it's up to you to decide. And if you're just starting out, most people have no idea of what the prices are.
Exactly. That's why you get a pre-approval. You sit down with your lender, your bank, your credit union, and you give us the copy of that pre-approval, so then we know. Because you may be stuck on Bridgeport. I love Bridgeport, but with that price range you give me, maybe a little bit lower, I can show you some great houses that may be up the valley, like my father said, and you may open your eyes and say, wow, never thought about outside of Bridgeport. And guess what? The taxes are lower too. So give us a call.
And in this particular case, it was a grandparent looking for a house for the grandchildren.
Oh, okay.
So, hey, the grandparent had their house 30 years. So 30 years ago, they might have paid $40,000 for their house.
Yep.
So if I say, well, a house is going to cost you $400,000, that's culture shock to them.
It is.
It's like, whoa, they're looking for something for, around $90,000. But rather than say to them, look, there's nothing out there for what you're looking for, let them go get pre-approved and have the mortgage person decide how much you can qualify for. Because after all, some people only want to pay a mortgage of a certain dollar amount. Maybe they're not ready to buy now. Maybe they, if they're, especially, look at it this way, if they've been living with the grandparents all these years and paying probably no rent, it's a big shock to go from paying no rent to a $2,000 mortgage. It's a big shock to go from paying no rent to even paying $1,000 rent. So if you're paying nothing and all of a sudden you got to pay, is that something that you really want to do? Is it something, do you want to stay with your grandparents and save up some more money? Or do you want to jump out into the market?
You see that? We're the only agents. I'm not saying we're the only agents, but how many agents tell you maybe you shouldn't be buying a house right now? We tell you the real deal, what's going on right now. People say, when should I buy a house? I say, when I'm ready. Are you ready yet? Have you sat down with your mortgage person? Have you gone about after you buy the house? How much is that mortgage payment going to be with your insurance estimate, your taxes? You got to make sure you're committed to this. Like I say, it's called a starter home for a reason. Most people stay in a house maybe 5 to 7 years. But you want to make sure you're ready for home ownership. It's great to be a homeowner, but you got to make sure, are you ready?
I wouldn't tell the customer that's asking me I wouldn't discourage them from buying a house. But, technically some people really are not ready to buy a house.
Exactly.
In other words, but that doesn't mean they will never buy a house. It just means that they have to be aware of what they're getting themselves into, how much money it's going to cost, and how much money they have saved up. So when you look at all of those different things and what the mortgage payment is going to be, I always have everybody
very important.
Find out from their mortgage person how much their mortgage payment is going to be before they put an offer in. Because remember, the mortgage person will tell you how much you're qualified for. So what if you go into a mortgage bank or into a credit union and they say, okay, all they look at is your income and your bills and your credit.
That's income.
And tell you how much money that ratio will allow you to pay and how much of a mortgage that you can buy. So they may say, okay, you qualify for $400,000. So, okay, you're saying, oh, Mr. Scott, I want to buy a house. I can go up to $400,000. So I say, okay. So we go to look at the houses and everything. And now you find something that might be $375,000.
There we go.
So now I'll say, okay, next step before we put that offer in, go back to your mortgage company, tell them that you found the house, how much you're putting down, how much the taxes are, because remember, the taxes are very important.
Very important.
Taxes are extremely important because the selling price is one thing, but the taxes, if the taxes are $6,000 a year, that means that your mortgage payment has to include $500 extra every month.
Every month.
What if the taxes are $12,000 a year? That means your mortgage payment has to include $1,000 every month in addition to the mortgage payment.
In addition to the mortgage.
So now I say go back, find out how much that payment, the total payment, including your principal and interest, your insurance, your taxes, and they add it all up. So now they come back and they say, whoa, that mortgage is going to be $2,800 a month. And I said, well, if we put this offer in and you get it accepted and you buying a house and you sit down at the table, they're going to say your mortgage payment is going to be $27,000. And you're going to, at that point, you can't say, oh, I can't afford that, because the bank has already told you, well, we qualify you for that. So maybe you don't want to go and buy something for the full amount that you're qualified for. What do you feel comfortable with?
You see what he said
You know,
there?
you got to look at what can I feel comfortable with before we put that offer in.
Exactly. Now, you see, you said there's someone with a $400,000 pre-approval looking for houses in the 370 range. Remember, you're approved for 400. Doesn't mean you have to spend the entire amount. You can look for houses in the 300 range, 350, so you have some room. Because remember, when we see these houses, if you like the house, so does the other 10 people that saw it before us. So that gives us a little bit of flexibility. But like I said, I like the way you say that. You don't have to go through the whole 400,000. You can start at what's comfortable for you. Talk to your mortgage person. Say, I don't want to pay over more than $2,600 a month. And they do the math. They'll say, okay, at that point, you can't spend more than this. Very good to have that.
What happens is a lot of people think, well, if I'm qualified for 400,000 and the house, one house is 350 and the other one's 400,000, well, I might as well buy the one for 400,000 because the payment's going to be the same. It's just a matter of I got qualified for more, and the mortgage company will make it so my payment is equal to the other one. It doesn't work that way.
No.
Your payment is going to go up for every dollar that you borrow. Your payment is going to go higher
Yes.
and higher. They're telling you how much you are allowed based upon the maximum amount of what you make. Now, what if all of a sudden you're not working as much overtime?
Very true.
What if the wife gets laid off or the husband gets laid off? Or what happens if you change jobs and you're making less money?
Yes.
You've already been qualified at the higher amount. That's based upon the bank assuming that you're going to make the same amount of money for the rest of your life for those 30 years
How
to
about
make
that?
that mortgage payment. So don't go out there and bite off more than you can chew by starting off with the maximum amount of house. And then you get your eyes, you know, it's like going to a restaurant. You don't want to go in a restaurant when you're hungry.
Yes.
You buy all the food and end up asking for the doggy bag because you got all this food in front of you. Now, the problem with a house, once you sign the mortgage payment, you can't go back to the bank and say, oh, look it,
Buyer's remorse.
I don't need all this house. Can I sell off the lot next door? Can I sell off the garage and just pay for just the house? You're obligated for the whole mortgage payment.
Once the closing happens, you become the landlord. As my New York client said, you're the super. Something breaks, you have to fix it. Even if it's been a week into the house, you cannot go back to the sellers and say, hey, remember, you had an inspection. You may have known the lifespan of these certain items, but you become the homeowner. So that's why we're working for a good realtor. We want to make sure that you're ready and you know what you're getting into. We even help our clients, we help New York clients find out what's going on with the furnace. We show you where the circuit breakers are. We show you how the house works.
Yeah, so you got to realize, you know, the main thing I want to emphasize to you today is that when you're going out and you're looking for a house, your main object should be something that you can afford.
Yes.
You don't, in other words, if it's totally necessary that you have to have everything all at once, all the bells and the whistles, and just be prepared to pay for it. And remember that once you sign that mortgage and the deed, you are obligated for the 30 years to pay that fixed dollar amount. They're not going to come in and say to you, okay, we're going to reduce your mortgage payment. It doesn't work like that.
I was going to say, if you come at it with a plan, sit down with your realtor or lender, and let's say you're already paying rent. People say, I'm already paying rent in the 2,000 range. Well, let's try to get your mortgage around that same amount of price. So at that point, you're paying the same amount of money you did when you were rents, but now guess what? You're building equity. You're putting money into the savings of your house.
Not only that, if you're paying $2,000 a month or more or whatever, your kids are growing up and the kids all leave home, well, you can downsize to a 2-bedroom apartment versus a 3-bedroom apartment or something smaller. When you're paying for that house and the house is 3 or 4 bedrooms, now your mortgage payment is fixed. Well, after they leave home, your mortgage payment is the same. The only way you're going to get out of it is sell the house.
We get that call every other day. People, older, they're selling their house, they're going back to their home country, moving back down south or wherever they're from, saying, I have too much house. I don't go into all these rooms. I only need a kitchen, a bedroom. They're very simple life. The kids have grown up.
This is where most of the sellers are coming from. The sellers that are selling their houses are are people that want to downsize.
Yes.
They don't, because when they bought that house, the taxes might have been $3,000. Now the taxes are $7,000. So they don't need to be, the heating bill, they don't need to heat up 4 bedrooms and they only need 2 bedrooms. They don't need to shovel all that snow, cut all that grass, all the maintenance and all of those fees when they really don't need the capacity for all of that. So, you know, if you're, and if you are in that position, give us a call.
Give us a call.
Because we have buyers that are looking to purchase properties like those. If you're out there and you're in a house where the house is, you know, bigger than what you want to pay for right now, I was going to say you can afford, you might be able to afford it, but it's eating up all of your income. Maybe now you're ready to retire, you want to take a trip, you want to go to the Caribbean, you want to relax, and all that's happening is all your money is being eaten up.
All going to the house.
By a house that you're only sleeping in 1 bedroom and you got 3 empty bedrooms.
Taxes are going up each year.
So you may want to consider selling that house and downsizing so that you could take and put that extra money in your pocket so that you can start enjoying life and doing some of the things that you want to do. Or if you have a reverse mortgage, a lot of people out there have basically got a reverse mortgage where they borrowed money on the house, and now they're going to be in a situation where what will happen is they'll be forced to sell that house in order to recoup some of that equity that they have built up. Give us a call. We can, you know, if you're in a probate situation where
reverse
mortgage situation, a situation where you want to downsize, you know, give us a call and we could give you some advice. You see the phone number right there.
Give us a call. Like I say each week, we pick up the phone. No answer machines, no AI robots. So either get me or him. We'll pick up the phone.
These are some of the things that you want to consider going forward. Like we're heading into the busy season now. We're heading into the spring season.
Yes.
And you know, like I said, you may want to just consult us to get an idea of some of the things you want to do.
Get a free CMA, cost market analysis. We let you know how much your house will sell for in this market.
That way we can help you and give you some advice. Like I said, there's no cost. We can come out and look at your property. And so these are some of the things that we can do to help you. Like, you know, call that number. We pick up the phone. There's no cost for any of this advice or consultation that we give either.
We're not lawyers, but you know, like I said, we can put you in the right direction when it comes to that. We have a lot of knowledge.
Exactly. We can help you out. So hopefully this episode, you know, like I said, we have other episodes. Go to YouTube, look up our episodes. Yes. We have over 100 of them. And, you know, they're all right on time because the information that we give you is still pertinent today as it was a year ago. So until next week, God bless.
Amen.
Hello, listeners. My name is Charles Scott, and I'm here with Charles Scott Jr.
Hey, how you guys doing today? Hello, my viewers. Welcome to Camp